Yeah, Prof here, and we're making a quick vid. All of this is in the way. This is a Suguru molded, went a little bit overboard, but hey, never gonna have issues with that. Suguru molded 30 pin. This is a newer one, no clips. Going to be doing the clip-based 30 pin. So I have to make sure to not go too far on that. And also the firewire to keep it in pristine condition. You get a ways to wrap electrical tape around it, and Suguru markets this as a fix for your cables. No, no, no. If you've already broken the outer and the shielding's coming apart, get a new cable. Do this sort of stuff prior to it failing, and it's going to make it last much, much longer. We would have cables that we would use all day, every day with Geek Squad, and doing AASP. So every 20 minutes, we're plugging it in, unplugging it, using it, and just the electrical tape alone made those last generally a year. But why are we here? Not that. I finally bought some stuff from the James brand. So this is more EDC stuff. That's why the keys are here, and I'll show you why the keys are here. Normally, all of my stuff is titanium. Well, I wanted to add a bottle opener because when I was at Anime Central convention, we did not have one. This technically up top here is a bottle opener. I think it's rather hard to use. And when they started making them out of copper and brass, they definitely went away from advertising that as a feature because it would just bend that. Well, I love this little pry bar. This is from Tactical Keychains, just like the TUKK XL and TUKK HD. Yeah, here's a TUKK HD, and here's a TUKK XL ES. There's a King Arthur. So same thing there, but it's not a bottle opener. So what I do is I wanted to add one that was, and this I bought it for relatively cheap. It's Kershaw. They make some decent knives. And it actually works all right. You definitely need to have keys on it because you can use that as more leverage. Realistically, you want this to be as far to the end as possible. But they wanted to keep this pry bar slash screwdriver thing on there. My issue is not even that. It's that it's the only steel thing on this whole thing. And what happens is it'll get stuck to my knife because that's a magnet in there for the Tactical Keychains TUKK Junior here. And then there's also all of my stuff is held on here with magnets. So what ends up happening is because that's steel and it's actually like decent, it's not stainless. It's like made like their knives are. This one's definitely seeing wear because of, there's all the edges, a lot of the powder coat's coming off, and a lot of that is because this gets stuck to it like that, right? And then it rubs. The other thing that can happen is, say when you pull this guy off or the flashlight off, what'll happen is this guy being steel will go like that, and then that just makes an ass of everybody. And you gotta peel that off. So I thought it'd be fine being steel. Wanted to save a bunch of money. This Kershaw is sub $10, I want to say, and is fine. But I really wanted something titanium, and however, a lot of those. King Arthur, you're being an ass, dude. It's just digging in everything, guys. So, yeah. And I wanted a titanium one of these. The reason why I got this is because of actually the James brand. They had one in titanium, but it's real expensive. I'm like, surely there's got to be a cheaper one. And there was this. It's actually decent as long as you don't... Here's another issue. Watch this. This magnet that attaches to that will flip over and stick to it. Like that. Then you go to try to put it away, and you can't because the magnet's stuck to it. And you got to hold it like this, hold it like... Everything else, literally you just pull off, put back on. But not this guy because it's got some magnet in there. Well, I looked for other. There are plenty of other titanium ones on. You see, it does that all the frickin' time. King Arthur, what are you doing? Can you just chill out? I know Gertrude wants attention too. She thinks it's time to sit down and sleep, which it is. But I want to get this stuff in my keychains because I'm going to be doing some on-site work tomorrow, and I'd love to have this sort of stuff with me. So yeah, I need to get this off there. I'll keep it still, or if a friend is interested in it, you know, here, quick gift, whatever. But yeah, see that there, super goddamn annoying. And yes, it's because I use magnets, but it's super nice. I can feel everything, and people call this my utility belt. Yeah, I can feel every little thing on here. I know what shape everything is, and I can just pull it off. And then generally speaking, there's only one magnet open, and I have them staggered, so they're opposite, which means it'll just snap right on. This bugger, because I added this, when it was just my pry bar, loved this thing. You can see it's almost barely colored anymore. This used to be nice bright colors. New ones of these are actually being made by Tactical Keychains. I forgot what color I went with. Or I might have even just gone plain old titanium. And then I can retire this one. And I bought David one of these as well. I think he runs it on his keychain he used to work with, or used to use at Geek Squad. Not really needed at the current job. But yeah, we're replacing this bottle opener right here. This bottle opener / pry bar. And I never thought this one was all that optimal. Like I said, if you hold it like this, especially when you have a key ring on it or something, and you can hold it here, that's nice. But realistically, you would want this notch like up there. It's just so much cheaper. Now, what do we have here? Well, realistically, the James brand is that's right there is what I should have just bought from the beginning. It's not cheap. That is for sure. That's a titanium split ring. I have my own those black ones you see here on here. If you notice, this doesn't stick to the magnet because that is a titanium split ring, and that's the biggest size I think I get. And then it's actually coated, that black coating on there is supposedly the same coating as on the iPhone 8. It's that same whatever style coating they used there. Look at that. It's just a hair bigger. Look, it's not any bigger than the Tactical Keychains pry bar guy, which they called the WTF, which is wrench that fits, because all these steps are different. Like one side's metric, one side's standard. That's, I think, 1/4 inch, which is probably your most common in the US size to have. And then it's a little pry bar. I would mostly use it. You can see all the corners are nicked off of it because sometimes you just need a little something to get in there, and this is great for that. You can actually see I've stressed some of the metal, the titanium right there, because it would be on a steel. Previously, it wasn't even on these titanium ones. It was on a steel one, and it would, for some reason, it would flip around like that, and then it would kind of get stuck and work its way. Ever since going to these titanium ones, though, it hasn't had that issue. But this thing, I did get it in just the titanium color because, as you might be able to see here, all of mine I switched to just titanium magnets when they came out with the updated ones. Plain old titanium one. Main reason why the flashlight is actually copper and not just aluminum or even, you'd think titanium. Maybe if I have to replace it, I'll go titanium. But the copper is actually a better heatsink. So because it's a decently powerful light in a decently small size, having the copper is great as a heatsink. This thing is a much better size. Okay, so for example, the notch is actually a little bit bigger, which is kind of nice. So your angle's a little bit bigger. This is stainless steel, the little nub here, right there. That's stainless steel, and it looks like it's screwed on with a Torx screw. And if you look, the actual hook after it is about the same. So you can kind of still use this as a little screwdriver pry bar if you have to. But look at how much more length you have. I'd say that's at least another 50%, or even nearing another 100. Not 100%, but and it's quite a bit thicker this way. If you notice, it's just, look, even without something on the end, you can use that to pop something up. And I will shortly be trying it. Probably the next time heck, I might be going upstairs to get it's one of the water bottle brands, one of the Mexican mineral water brands. And they don't have twist offs. They have where you have to pop it. Maybe I'll give this a shot tonight yet. But this bevel here too, super. It looks nice, but it also fits the hand well. I know like some people complain about the James brand like marketing themselves as like a US company or something like that, and blah blah blah. Yeah, they're Chinese guys. This, like, it's nice and tumbled. I think these are like $40. Think about that for a bottle opener. But, and like I said, as long as steel isn't an issue for you, this Kershaw is actually really nice. It's nicely made, nicely tumbled, nicely rounded. Also made in China, despite Kershaw, I believe, being a U.S. knife brand. See that fucking magnet though? It depends if you use magnets or not to attach your stuff. If you don't have any magnets on your keys, steel's gonna be better. Obviously, actually, you know. So let me. I gotta get this guy in the, holy shit. This is gonna be a little bit of a stretch for this keyring. Like, this width isn't bad. It's just that it's pretty thick this way and probably just about as thick that way. Though it is titanium, so it'll stretch back. It's not like the aluminum ones that will. You see, I want that to sit like that. So right like that. There you go. Boom. Snapped right back. They're gonna sit at different heights. We'll have to see. It's because this right here is thicker than this guy, and why it's an issue that they're gonna sit at different heights is this is gonna sit inside of this one. It's gonna want to sit on that lip right there, and you're gonna get a lot of. Oh, but look at this! Oh my god, I'm not annoyed to frickin' hell and back. By the way, so a lot of brands have titanium bottle openers, like even this size. Actually, even smaller. Some of them are like that big, but they do put it at the end. Like that big, right? I'll read the reviews. A lot of people will say like, it's nicely manufactured, but there's just not enough leverage, or you have to like pop it like 5 times. I'm gonna try that right away with this. What you need in order to not pop it as much is a wider thing. Like, you actually want a wide. If you notice, like a proper bottle opener, like that sucker's like that wide, right? And even this would generally be 2, because it only can grab one of those little teeth at a time rather than like 2 or even 3. So you kind of have to, especially with your lack of leverage, because you're back here, you're like kind of like it would take like 2 to 3 pries of the lid. Whereas realistically, when you pop a bottle, like a top off a bottle, any good bottle opener, like a proper big, what they call them, like church key style, you just put on there, tunk, and it just flies off just like that. So like you can get used to it and you can use this. I was just looking for something better, and the design of the James, even though it is quite a bit more expensive, was just plain old better. Like, if you look at this guy, it's just, you got a lot more meat on it. If you want to hold it like that, even here, even holding it right here, you have more leverage than you probably did. Yeah, here, I'll just. Putting your thumb right there is the same as putting it on the circle, essentially, here. And you can still use your other one. If you pull this tight, like, here's a trick, guys. If you have a link here, pull this tight, you now have actually more leverage. Because because you're pulling that. Yeah, so look, that magnet is not fucking around. And what would happen, if you're wondering, is I wouldn't even necessarily go for this because I don't drink that many beers, but I sometimes use it for, you know, mineral water or a Sprecher root beer if it didn't have a twist off. All kinds of things. You know, sometimes beer too. But often I go for this, and then the magnet would stick to this guy, like, because it's actually decent steel because it's made by, you know, Kershaw, who makes knives and stuff like that. It's made of decent steel, but that also means it's very magnety, right? So now when we put this on my keys here, look at that. That looks so much better and more in place there. Yeah, I can just... And here's why. Like, if you notice these, I did put double... like I did split rings to split rings. I don't want to do that for the pry bars and the bottle opener because they're already long enough. Like, if you notice, the longest thing is that flashlight, and realistically, it can't be much shorter. You know what I mean? Now I may actually put the flashlight... See, I staggered them so I can't just move it over one. It's purposeful so you don't mess up putting them back. But I may swap the magnets around. But this one always lines up nice because it sits up next to the keys, or next to the key. You know, right like that. And I'm glad I went with the standard titanium because it kind of matches everything else. You know, we're just going with like monochromatic. And I got my nice yellow knife here. Yeah, there's a little pop of color. Why are there 2 boxes here though? If that's what I ordered, why are there 2 boxes, Elliot? Well, the other thing, I'm like, if I'm ordering from them, I didn't really know what their shipping thing was like, or anything like that. I did get a discount. I think they have a discount code if it's your first order. Even this thing's super light. I'm gonna keep that separate because I'm not using it right this second. But if I need a nice split ring for something, heck yeah. But yeah, none of this is cheap. I'll warn you guys about that. However, one thing that I have been aware of for a long time, actually even before I was looking for that bottle opener, is that, remember, I had these out, TUKK XL. James brand makes a competitor of sorts. Oh, this is fucking heavy. And this is why I said a competitor of sorts. That is massive. There's a TUKK XL. If you want a different, that's a TUKK. This is a TUKK HD. Right. Here's a TUKK XL. There. Like, so there's a chance that this could be easier to handle because it's a bit bigger. So if you're doing something a bit more... Oh, this is why this feels so heavy. They're getting you. This is all stacked cut, like, foam poster board. So... Can't get it out of there, but... This is a little bit heavier than... Yeah, this is basically just a utility knife. Look. So yeah, that's a smaller utility knife. It is just aluminum. Those are some sharp as shit edges. Like... Oh. Wow, the finish on this, and like, do you see how curly this, they definitely make this look way nicer in their photos, like with the colored, what do you want to call it, like lanyard piece, so you can like kind of fish it out of your pocket. But holy hell, I'm actually getting complained to them about that, where the edge on this is just, that should be tumbled. You want to know how I know they know it should be tumbled? This thing is immaculately made. Granted, it's titanium. Whereas this is aluminum, but still, yeah, I thought this might be like a bigger one I could carry if I wanted something with like a bit more, and it is, like it can hold in your hand and stuff, but this lip here, well, you know I like these. Yeah, and this is a nice little clip on the back. Here's when I used the Geek Squad. You know. But I was interested because this is kind of pitched as a alternative. And I could tell on some of the reviews I saw that it was much bigger. But you could also tell that those are female hands. So I was like, oh, maybe it's not actually that much bigger. It's that that person has small hands. Well, I think that person has small hands, but this thing is also just massive. So here's the thing. Remove before use. There's lock, and the middle is unlocked. And I think, if I recall correctly, that means that's the blade change. Oh, I brought a new blade out. What is... What the hell? Oh. So it's actually that middle one that the blade comes out on. It's got two lock positions. Back is lock in. Forward is lock out. So it doesn't even go out as far as the TUKK XL. It could with all this beef that's here. I know these kind of look... Okay, so the reason why these look deceivingly the same size... This side should help more. Is because this part over here, right? So there's this guy, and then this label's still on it. Let's pull the label off the rest of the way now that I know how to use it. Oh, by the way, they wanted to sell you blades for this. They do market it the correct way. They're like, oh yeah, it's airline safe. By the way, this button is plastic. Like the whole mechanism in here is plastic. Like inside there. It does lock. Just, you know, this is so curly. That looked like a much thicker strap on the photos, or like a higher quality, like maybe like a paracord is what that would normally be. And this is just like, at least not your standard paracord. It's cheap cord. Here's another thing that I think they got wrong. If you look at the TUKK XL right-handed, or TUKK HD right-handed, you don't see any of the screws and everything, because this is how you're going to handle it. You're going to go like that. Same thing here. You're going to hold it like this and put it like that. Why am I seeing the bad side? You should see the good side. I mean, it's decently easy to use. That needs to be... If I had a non-anodized one of these, I would literally take a sander or a Dremel to it and just go... You shouldn't have to do that for how expensive this guy is, though. Now, for one of these, you cannot buy one of these, especially one of these with the nice blue abalone inlay. It gets you most of the way there to like an entry-level version of the TUKK XL, not the HD. It is smaller. I would prefer this. Like, this is a much more sleek design, if you ask me. I think your standard user is gonna know how to use this more right out of the box. Oh, there's a chip in mine. Right out of the... Nope. Okay, that was just crap stuck on there. Oh, it turned like this looks like a circle, and I think it is from this side, right? Once again, from the side you see, it's a hex. They're actually using that's a screw. That's what they're using to put it on. See, that's on the side you see. Remember, this is you hold it like that, and you go like this, and you go cut. So I don't know. Is everybody that works at James a lefty? Let's check their. Here's their bottle opener. The James branding is on the outside. Yeah, I guess that is the same as this, where they have their little logo right there, and then on the outside, so other people can see what tool you're using. James, like I think this looks nice on this one. The screws are really what should have been on the other side here. Yeah. But yeah, man, that. That's like you could use it. You could do a scratch off with the lip that's on there. Normally, if I'm making it like, because I got one of those recently, I use this end of this, just make it real nice. You could use this too. Either way, you know. But even this, like this is a sharpish lip, but it's not like you don't hear this. Like this is way more rounded and more of a like a finished product. This lip on here, and I know I'm like going into it because especially though because they beveled this. See that? Like that should have been a smoother transition. And in the pictures, when it's sitting there like this and it doesn't have its curly Q, strappy thing, yeah, this just feels like cheap aluminum, too. I thought this was going to be way more yellow, but it's more of a gold. Or like orange. Whereas under proper lighting, that is much more of a, like the standard gold anodized. Whereas in our pictures, they make it look much more of a yellow. Which, as you know, I'm a fan of. So, this I don't know, I may talk to them about taking it back. Let's see here. If we put it in the middle spot with the red, push down, or you don't, it unpushes itself. You pull the blade out. Yeah, they have special James branded utility blades. They're standard. They're thin. They're thinner than DeWalt carbides, which are, or sorry, Stanley carbides, which are pretty industry standard. So back in, out. Yeah, I mean, it locks up well. I don't know. You guys let me know if I'm being overly whatever about the their knife. It's just, as you guys know, I'm very used to the quality of these, you know? Oh, it stopped there. I don't think you'd want it to. Yeah, I mean, it locks and everything. No, you really got to make sure you push it all the way, otherwise it's going to stop and lock at that in-between one where the blade's going to come out. And if you start cutting on that, it's just going to pull, like, yeet it out here. See? Yeah, I feel like with this big of a body, you could definitely make that blade come out more. Because you're not, if you're wondering what that's going to cause you to do, remember there's two of these. It's basically this big, right? So ideally, you want to use half and half, like that. They're using about a third, like not that, like that much at a time. So you're basically never going to use the middle of this blade. Because it could never be exposed. See? Now this sort of thing actually seems good for like whittling and stuff like that. You know, like because it's a slightly bigger handle. You know, you can really get your hand on it compared to a TUKK, where you know you kind of hold it like this guy, where you get two fingers on. You know, but normally I do like this or like this, lots of this and that. You know, depends on what you're doing. The build quality on this, especially compared to that that bottle opener, though, is just nowhere near. Like I with how much you pay for these, I was expecting like that bottle opener is as good as it like I would imagine it should be. Whereas by comparison, this guy is nowhere near, in my opinion. Especially having one of the other products right here that's just made immaculately. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I may message him about that and just be like, hey, I picked this up because I was keeping an eye on it for a while, and it just this box too. That's just a bullshit move in my opinion. The fact that they used all this stacked, it's like that kind of foam core poster board in there to make that cutout, and this feels like a heavy quality thing. Like we're talking like same weight as this quality Japanese pliers here, you know, for the whole thing. Give me 1 second, I can check my scale. Postage scale says it's 8.7 ounces. If you open it up and pull the actual knife out, I'm also very surprised they can ship it with a blade in because these guys can't. This is 2.5 ounces, and it actually went to a negative 0.5 ounce. So let's put it back in there. Put it back on the scale. I had to tear it out. I should have waited. Yeah, once again, this is that. See? And just how they just shove that in there like that. I would almost, they'd rather just give you it, and you can tie it on yourself. I can tie a knot. I'm fully capable. This is actually, like, this was held on with those twisty ties. I understand why they want that. Is because they want to be able to open up like this, and you just display it usually like that as something you would sell in a store. So it kind of displays itself. Same sort of thing here, but this is, like, there's no extra weight. And I mean, maybe because it's supposed to be light because it's titanium. Remember, that was 2.5 ounces for the blade. Yeah, 8.7. So the packaging weighs multiple times more than the knife. Like it's more than 3 times. Like total, so 8.7 ounces. The knife is 2.5 with a blade in it. So that's just extra heft on the packaging. That's unneeded. It's unneeded. This, like, I've been keeping an eye on that for a while because I have these guys, right? And that seemed like a competitor product. As I saw some reviews, though, it looked way bigger. Like, thickness-wise, too, it's almost twice as thick. I can get some measurements, but it's put away now. This, however, this bottle opener, if you want a really nice quality bottle opener, pick this guy up. They use this little sort of nub on a bunch there, like, because they have some really nice carabiners, too. I actually know a couple people that have ones from them. That's actually what turned me on the brand first. And this thing is made as good or even better than those carabiners I saw. But that thing, you'd think, since you see quality like this, and I've seen their carabiners that are, like, really nice, either they're very polished, they're very, that's like a B team made that, or maybe they designed it really well at first and they cost it down or something. You also, in the pictures, from what I can tell, I don't remember, maybe I'm wrong, I never saw a marketing photo of it with the backside with the screws. Like, you always saw it on this side, not that side. And in this case, it kind of hides it because it got the clip and everything. You understand, like, oh, that's the backside. You can have screws. I just find it odd that the mechanical side of this is what faces you, the user, in the camera there. So let me know what you guys thought about this. Yes, it's an overly expensive pry bar slash bottle opener. Realistically, all the ones I could find on Amazon. Let me know if you find one that's titanium. All of them were either like that size, like real small, and I can tell you, like reading the descriptions, people are like, it works, but you gotta like faff around with it. I don't want to have to do that. Or they're saying like, yeah, look, it's made really nice, but it like works like shit. Somebody actually never tested this. Like some of them you could tell were just based on a standard, like they have the aluminum like kind of hook J-shaped bottle opener, right? But they were the same, and that's supposed to be like that thick. They made it on a titanium like that thin. So it's obviously, when it's a quarter or a third of the size, it's not going to work as well. And this just seemed like they got the, if you notice, it's right about the right length that I want it to be. Boom, check that out, you know. And, you know, it was a good product for me. This one I kind of just tossed in there since I was placing an order, and not too happy. Not too happy. Well, guys, hopefully you enjoyed it. As always, Tactical Keychains come out with more and more of these TUKKs in various colors and sizes. I love this new clip design. If you haven't watched that video, go back, and that'd probably be the previous video I would say to watch. There were some issues with this. I'll be on my third one pretty soon, and that's all due to paint, because this is this very nice high-vis orange that's probably not showing up well on camera. But mine came in with some issues originally, and then the second one, the sticker pulled the paint off. We'll see what happens with the third one. Apparently I'm getting one new off the line, and they're not putting stickers on those because of course, my issues. As always, have a good one. Peace.